Peace, Israel, Yah bless. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Now, we're currently seeing the dust ups in the Middle East, or the quote unquote Middle East, because there is no such thing. But we're seeing clearly what's taking place in the Holy Land, what is termed Palestine or termed Israel. And we see that currently the Israelis, you can't find no such thing as an Israeli in this book. The Israelis are actually getting ready to do a ground offensive in Gaza. They've already bombed the place to smithereens. There's nothing to go back to. They have gone entirely too far. So I titled this segment / lesson, No Turning Back. Once again, our title this segment / lesson, No Turning Back. They have gone too far. What they have done is they have been bombing for many years the Gaza Strip. What they have done this time, they have gone entirely too far. If you're going to bully a people, there's a point when you will bully them so much to where they have no fear of you and they understand the only way to survive is to fight. And this is where we are in the Gaza Strip, and this is where we will be also in the West Bank. So once again, brace yourselves, tighten up your jaws, do not turn to the left or to the right, or you will get hit in the mouth. We are to walk the straight and narrow way of the Most High's commandments. We are not to deviate to the right hand or to the left hand. We are to walk the straight and narrow way. Now, we're seeing this thing escalate as they decide to go in and actually have to fight hand to hand and actually man to man. This is going to be a different thing. They have claimed that they are the best military, best equipped, trained, funded, etc., etc. Let me reiterate to those who are listening. These Israelis are nothing but a bunch of white dudes. That's it. And the MO for the European has always been find the people, invade their land, kill them, and now when you come into the land, you are but a minority. The people you've killed off in this land is much too vast for you. They will outnumber you. So you come in, you kill them, and then you open up the doors wide and invite all your white buddies to come. And so this is how you pad your numbers. Because once you have come into a people's landmass and you murder them, because this is what they do, that blood spills upon the ground. Now, once that blood hit the ground, cursed is that ground when you're walking on it. And cursed are you for being a shedder of blood in that land. I don't care what land it is. So the European MO has always been go to a land, murder people, open the door wide, invite his other white buddies to come in, and all of a sudden they're going to claim they own the land. And in order to maintain that land, you'll have to do exactly what you did to take it. You're going to have to lie. You're going to have to cheat. You're going to have to murder. There's no other way because this is how you obtained it. And if you're lying, cheating, murdering, taking bribes, and all these other foul behaviors, then certainly the Most High will not bless you. Matter of fact, He will pour out His wrath upon you. So this is what these Israelis, like I said, once again, they're from the Eastern Bloc of Europe, Belarus, Poland, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, greater parts of Russia. They're Europeans. These are white people. And to say that they are the people of that land, that is as crazy as me taking a bunch of black people and putting them up in Siberia and claiming that the true Siberian has arrived back home. Those brothers, if some brothers were to move up to Siberia, we would be frostbit left and right. Our bodies is not built for that environment. And this is why these Israelis and these Europeans, when they try to go migrate to these areas to live, the Holy Land, they've got the highest rates of skin cancer. One way or another. And this also addresses what the American or the English have done coming to America. Same playbook. The same thing the English have done going into going into Australia, killing off the people. But once you do this, the Most High will systematically kill you off. So the only way these European nations that have gone into other people's lands and have slain them and murdered them and shed their blood upon the land, the only way they will be able to maintain that land is they're going to constantly have to open their doors to their fellow Europeans to come in to pad their numbers, because the Most High will systematically disease them. He will cause them to kill each other. He will cause them to kill themselves. He will cause the land not to grow any food for them. It will cause the land to burn fires and floods. He will systematically kill you off. So this is what they're facing at this present time. Now, in the Gaza Strip, we know certainly that this has gone too far. This is unlike past events where you just bomb them and leave them alone. What the Israelis normally refer to as mowing the lawn. All your intelligent generals and whomever else, your military strategists, this includes those of the United States. The Most High will remove their knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from them. All their moves from here on out will be pure stupidity and military blunders. And they will be presented for the earth to see. For they will lose this. And all the Arab nations, Hezbollah, Syria, I personally have always believed the Golan Heights is one of the many keys to this. So I'm looking to see exactly when Syria is going to move to take the Golan Heights and push those Israelis out of there. And I'm assuming that that will be not too far away, because I do believe that the Golan Heights are key. Don't know why I believe that. That's just my belief. Once again, that's my personal opinion. So my eyes are geared towards the Golan Heights. So as Syria enters, Syria will bring its forces. Lebanon will bring its forces. And what the Israeli may not have, the Israeli, nothing but a European, nothing but a bunch of white dudes. If you take their Knesset and put them in the House of Commons, or put them anywhere in England, or put them in the U.S. House of Representatives, you couldn't tell them apart. They're nothing but a bunch of white dudes. That's why when they go fighting, what will happen is you will have the U.S., England, France, and all the other white buddies that have encouraged to come into the land, that took them into the land. They're going to fight with them, and they're going to die with them. The unfortunate part about all of this is that our sons will be involved in this. So if and when this thing escalates, we will certainly have to pray for our young men, our young Israelites, who have no idea what this conflict entails, and will be picking up guns on the behalf of their enemies, unbeknownst to them. So if you have a young brother or someone that's in the military that you're related to that is of our people, do speak with them and try to get them up to speed the best as possible, speaking in terms that they may understand, that they may have a framework on exactly what is transpiring, that they may know exactly how to best navigate this thing. Now, let's deal with these people in the land, taking the Most High's land and just handing it out to their buddies. Joel chapter 3, verse 1 reads, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel." Did not say he was going to plead for the whole world. He said he will plead for his people and his heritage Israel. The people that's calling themselves Israel in the land are nothing but a bunch of white people from Europe. They are not native to that land, neither are they the sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That is why they suffer from the highest rates of skin cancers, etc. in that land. They don't belong there. And things that don't belong gets removed. "Whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." So therefore we have some individuals sitting here. The Most High is saying he will plead with them for his people and for his heritage Israel. How is he going to plead with them? He's going to kill them. He's going to plead with these strangers that's sitting in the land for his people. That includes the Palestinians, by the way. So he's going to plead with the Israelis, He's going to plead with the Palestinians. Now, before I get out of this verse, let's do understand that the Christian, the Muslim, and the quote-unquote Jewish person, these are the three religions that has confused the children of Israel and have caused them to go down the path that is not right, that has caused them to err. So the Most High has got to take these three religions. He's going to beat them up, and those who follow therein. Okay, so you're going to see them fighting each other. And we're going to sit back and watch this thing. But we're going to have to do some fighting too. So man of Israel, prepare for that. Once again, verse 2, I will gather all nations. Keep in mind, what you call countries and what the Most High is calling nations are two entirely different things. When you go to Genesis chapter 10, he lists the nations. Nations are bloodlines, families of people. What we have nowadays is what's called countries. These countries have many different types of people in it. These people are mingled in these quote-unquote countries. Back in the days of old, a country made up of a nation, meaning a bloodline of people. So he will gather them in the valley of Jehoshaphat, because these people have scattered his people among the nations. The Jew had a heavy hand, the quote-unquote Jewish people, these Israelis, had a heavy hand in the ships and funded in part, if not in whole, the entire slavery of the Israelite. These Israelis have parted up the land, the British, the French, the Dutch. What I said, it's not the Dutch, the British and the French, primarily. After the Ottoman Empire was destroyed, literally took a hold of the Middle East and carved it up. And this is how to form all these many different nations, Lebanon and all these other places that prior to these countries were all part of Syria. So the European man, the British, the European man, the French, those who know not the Most High, went into the lands of Palestine and throughout the Arabian Peninsula and literally divvied up the land. Hey, French man, you get this. Hey, English man, you get that. You will rule over these people here and there. That's why when you see a lot of these people coming from Beirut and some of these people coming from Palestine, and you see that some of them looking purely white, some of them looking like they're white and something else. The British has been in Palestine for quite some time, so they've got babies there. The Romans, the Catholic Christian have been there for quite some time, so they've got babies there. We know certainly the Caliphate and the Ottoman Empire has brought many of the Arabs there. So you're seeing a mixture of these peoples in these lands. And they have taken the Most High's land and divvied it up and parted it up and divided it up. Verse 3, and they have cast lots for my people, and they had given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? All the coast of Palestine, will ye render me a recompense? And if ye render me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head. That means it doesn't matter what you do. Just like Eli, when Eli's sons were walking contrary to the Most High's law, statutes, judgments, and precepts, laying down with women, taking bribes, etc., etc. And Eli knew of this thing, yet they were not reprimanded. In other words, Eli turned a blind eye to judgment and justice. And the Most High told Eli, who was the high priest at Shiloh, he told Eli, there is nothing you can do. There's no sacrifice you can make. There's nothing you can do to stop what I'm going to do to you and your house. So therefore, there's nothing that they can do. There's no recompense, nothing that they can do. No begging, no scraping, no nothing that they can do to keep the Most High from literally destroying them. Verse 5, because ye have taken my gold, ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly, pleasant things. All the artifacts that we have had in the temple. When the Roman ain't nothing but a Christian, Roman Catholic Christian, Europeans, when they wrecked the temple, kicked us out of Jerusalem, they took all those things. Took all the Most High's goodly, pleasant things. Got them up in their churches, probably got them in the Vatican, got them in, have them in their museums, etc., etc., etc. Took all the stuff. In other words, these are robbers of our people. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians. That's the Greeks. that ye may remove them far from their borders. So we have been removed far from our borders. We're over here in the West and in Africa and in Europe and all these other places of the earth, all the countries of the earth. Verse 7, behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them. So all the places where the Jewish people, them Israelis, those Israelis, the places that they funded these ships to take us to, the enslavement of them, or enslavement of us by them, the European French, the European Dutch, the Netherlands, Spain, Portugal, you know all the culprits, the European, Roman, Catholic, Christian, the Muslim, and the Jew. These three religions, these three sets of peoples have been our tormentors and our enslavers and our murderers. Verse 7, behold, I will raise them out of the places where ye have sold them. Me sitting here before you reading this law, reading the law, reading the books and the words of the prophets, and shining the light to guide you the way that you should walk. This is part of the Most High raising us up in the places where these individuals have sold us, and will return your recompense upon your own head. In other words, all that you have done, all that the Muslim has done, all that the Jewish person has done, and all that the Christian Roman Catholic has done to our people, it's coming back on your head. And there's nothing you can do to stop this thing. Absolutely nothing. Verse 8, and I will send your sons and your daughters into the land of the children of Judah. Excuse me, I will sell your children, or sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah, because you sold our children. So therefore your children will be sold. And they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for Yah has spoken it. So this is the Most High talking right here, that you have sold our children. Our children were snatched from their mothers, snatched from their fathers, and there was no might in our hand, because you were given dominion over us, because we chose to ignore the Most High's laws, statutes, judgments, and precepts. So what's going to happen now is your children are going to be snatched from your bosom, and they're going to be sold to a people that far off, that you're not going to see them again. So this is where we're headed. Verse 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. This is what I'm doing right now, proclaiming this among the Gentiles, so the Gentiles might hear this and consider and know what is to come. Prepare ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. That's what's happening right now. Make up the mighty men, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come. This is the Most High gathering them, dragging them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Let all the men of war come. Let the Syrians come. Let the Jordanians come. Let the Iraqis come, and the Iranians come, and the Saudi Arabians come. Bring the Russians too. Bring the Chinese too. They all have got to come and witness the Most High's glory. Oh, by the way, before we go to verse 10, and I will reread verse 9 before we go to verse 10. The Israeli man figures he was going to make alliance with these Arabs. Israel, I want to say he has some kind of agreement with Israel, and he probably has an agreement with a couple of other Arab states or Muslim states, to where he feels that he's at peace and that he has some kind of allegiance or agreement with them. I've got news for you there, Mr. Israeli man. These men from these Arab nations that you've signed agreement with, they're going to double cross you. Yeah. You don't know that's coming, but I'm going to let you know it's coming. These Arab nations that you felt you have made some kind of agreement with and made some peace agreement with, these nations will turn their backs on you and will scrap that agreement. It's coming. So hold on for that. Once again, verse 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare for war. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords. In other words, let the farmer get ready to go to war, because that's what it's going to be. And your pruning hooks into spears. It's time to scrap. Let the weak say, I'm strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen. All ye heathen, all you nations, Come on, Spain. Come on, France. Come on, Germany. Come on, NATO. All of you responsible for what you have done to us, to destroying God's people. And now the Most High is going to crush you. And there's nowhere to go, and there's nothing you're going to do that's going to get you out of this mess. And gather yourselves together round about. There cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yah. Let the heathen be weakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Most High sitting there waiting on them, bringing them down, getting all the fowls of the air and the beasts of the field to get ready to devour, because there's going to be a bunch of dead, stinking bodies to eat from. So all the crows and all the flesh-eating birds and animals, etc., they're going to eat to the full. That's how many dead bodies there will be from this thing. So it says here, let the heathen be weakened. The Most High is going to weaken them. He's going to take their knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from them. All these smart weapons they think they've got, the Most High is going to change the weather on them. He's going to bring the sandstorms on them. He's going to bring the clouds the way these drones can't see what's going on the floor, what's going on the ground. He's going to mess things up to where them satellites is not going to work. So you can't outsmart the Most High. So you think you're intelligent, etc., etc. The Most High has not unleashed all of his weapons of war as of yet, meaning that weather, those sandstorms, the rains, the hail, the cloud, the waters, and the fires, and not to mention the winds, not to be outdone, the earthquakes. So the Most High said he will sit to judge all the heathen round about. Now keep in mind, right? We're at verse 12. Let me hold that right there. And like I've told people before, if the Most High is going to be the judge, a judge has to operate based on law. So why will the Most High be killing the heathen? He will be killing the heathen for the simple fact that they have not walked in his laws, statutes, judgments, and precepts. And that's what they're being judged upon. Now, verse 13, put ye in the sickle. I don't know if you know what a sickle is. A sickle looks like a long stick that has a big hook at the end. It normally uses to cut grass. Okay, back in the old days. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The vats overflow, which is actually vats. My book says fats, but it's vats. The vats overflow, for their wickedness is great. So the Most High is saying the wickedness of these nations is great, and he has to deal with them. Now the wine vat, you put the wines in there and you stomp on them with your feet. You just crush the grapes. That's how you're going to make this wine. So the Most High is going to stomp on these nations. It's going to be unimaginable. If you think what you're seeing in Gaza now is bad, you haven't seen anything yet. Get ready. Verse 14, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yah is near in the valley of decision. Verse 15, the sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining, meaning it's going to be dark in the sky. Yah shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. We talking earthquakes. But Yah will be the hope of his people. He did not say he will be the hope of everyone. Who are his people? The children of Israel. And the Israelis are not the children of Israel. The Israelis don't belong in that land. The Israelis belong somewhere in the Caucasus with the rest of the Europeans. And the strength of the children of Israel. Let me reread that in case you think God loves everybody and God is coming to rescue everybody. The Most High is coming for his people, his heritage, who is Israel, the nation, a bloodline of people. Once again, Yah shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake, but Yah will be the hope of his people, his, singular, possessive, his people. There's no three people here, no trinity here. And the strength of the children of Israel. The children of Israel did not say everyone, did not say everybody, did not say the whole wide world. So let's get all of this in perspective and get it crystal clear. Verse 17, so shall ye know that I am Yah, your strength, dwelling in Zion. Okay, ye who know. The house of Israel is going to know this because he is our strength, dwelling in Zion. He is not the strength of the nations. Hey, Spain got their gods. England got their God. America has their God. Russia has their God. And it's all the same dude. White dude with long hair. And some of our people have gotten silly and has made this idol into some quote unquote black person with dreadlocks. It's an idol. Okay, so all of these idol worship is about to get crushed. Those who have taken a hold of vanity, they will all go into confusion together. When this thing goes down, they're going to be confused, baffled, standing there looking stupid. Once again, show that so shall ye know that I am your strength, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore. So when the Most High crushed these nations, all these other nations that have ran through us, has made us afraid, that has come into our land, killed us, and then invited other white people to come in and take over the land and subjugated us to their cruelty. None of this will happen anymore, which is clear that the people that's sitting in the land right now are not the house of Israel. They do not fit any of the prophecies. And I'm going to touch on that here in a second. Verse 18, and it shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop down new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk. And all the rivers of Judah shall flow with waters, and a fountain shall come forth out of the house of Yah, and shall water the valley of Shittim. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Israel, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. This is the sons of Edom, Edomites, shedding innocent blood in the holy land. They got to go. But Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed. For Yah dwelleth in Zion. Don't say anything but Yah dwelleth in the sky. Yah dwelleth in Zion. So with the violence that's taking place within the land, the Most High is there. His eyes are upon that land year after year, day and night. There's nothing going on there that he's not aware of. He's aware of the gay parades. He's aware of all the plannings that they're making. He's going to make their plannings, cause their plans to fail. He's aware of all the weapons that's being made. He's aware that you have sterilized the Ethiopians. Now, in all of this, these Israelis, at no time, you have seen footage after footage after footage on all the many different news networks. And I do not go to CNN and MSNBC and CNBC because these are nothing but a bunch of white people. Predominantly, the owners of those channels and those who control and pull the strings are Israeli or Jewish people. So the narrative being pushed by them will be favorable towards Jewish people, i.e. Israelis. Whatever that means, an Israeli. I want to say that the definition of Israeli is someone who became a citizen of the nation of Israel after 1947, maybe. So that's what an Israeli is. You can't find no such thing as an Israeli out of the mouth of any prophet. This is something absolutely brand new. We were instructed not to add or to subtract from this law. The Most High's people have never been called Israelis, and I mean ever. We don't even know what that is. So an Israeli is nothing but a white man that came into some land that don't belong unto him and figure he can shed blood on that land and get away with it. And the Most High is going to prove to you that that cannot be done. So in all the coverage from the many different nations, as you look through your TV and you look on your internet, you will not see anyone from the Knesset to the prime minister to anyone else in Israel calling on the name of Yah. Let me say that one more time. Here they are in distress. Now, the reason why you're in distress is because that which you have been calling on has failed you. Let's deal with that part. That also goes for the Palestinian. You are in distress because whom you have been calling on failed you. So all of us are going to see exactly, hey, we're going to find out. Every man is going to find out if his God works or not. I've told you many years ago that we will be coming to this, to where it's going to be so hard. The distress upon the inhabitants of the earth is going to be so tough to where every man is going to have to call upon his God, his strong one, whomever he think God is. And we're going to see whose God is going to respond to their cry. So we see clearly the Palestinians, they have been suffering under this siege for many decades now. Whomever they're crying to has not come to their aid. And now the Israelis getting busted in his head, and he can't get no aid either. But here's the thing. You have not found anyone from the Knesset, any of their leaders. You haven't heard anyone speak and saying, we will call on the Most High to deliver us from the hands of our enemies round about. You haven't heard that. You know why? Because they don't believe in the Most High. That's why. And they're not the Most High's people. That's why. And if they call on the Most High, he ain't listening to them no way. Most High is coming to deliver his people. So what you're going to find the Israeli doing, the Israeli is going to lean on what he has always leaned upon. Remember, the Israeli is nothing but a white man. I can't say it no more simple than that. He switched his name around. I've done the video, list them mine enemies, let you know exactly what Netanyahu's real name is, what the real name of Ben Gurion is. All of these dudes coming out of Europe, every last one of them. These are white dudes. So what you're seeing now with them, you're not seeing not one of them call on the name of Yah. Not one of them. What they're going to do, they're going to do what all the other white nations do. Britain, which is England, which is Australia, same but bunch of people. France, Germany, Spain, Belgium, Netherlands, Portugal, Italy, all these European, white, Christian, Roman nations. What they're going to do, they're going to rely on their weaponry. Their God is guns. That's what they rely on. They rely on each other. They place their faith in each other. And they place their faith in their guns, not in Yah. So the Israeli man, he's going to call on America. He's going to call on England. He's going to call on France. He's going to call on all his other white buddies in NATO to come try to deliver him. However, the Most High is going to put a wedge between all of them. He's going to destroy them systematically. But he's going to put a wedge between all of them and put a fire in the midst of them. Because they're not going to call on the Most High anyway. That's why you haven't heard not one Israeli call up on the Most High in this time of trouble. When have you heard that from any of their leaders? You haven't heard it, you're not going to hear it. These men are going to count and call upon their arms, their weaponry. Because in weaponry, in killing, in violence, is where they place their trust. So the Israeli has gone too far. He's bombed Gaza to where there's almost nothing for them to come back to. He's broken all types of laws, international laws, but most importantly, he's broken laws, the laws of Yah. And that's where he's going to pay. All the other nations who are known as the UN, the Most High is going to stick it to the UN nations. Why? Because these nations and its leaders have turned a blind eye to righteous judgment. These Israelis have continued to break international law and do all manner of things that's just foul. And the Most High made it plain that any man that turns his face away from doling out justice and judgment, when you decide to act like you don't see something and you're unwilling to punish and enforce it, the Most High said he will turn his face against that man and his house. So therefore, all the UN nation, all these nations of UN that has allowed these Israelis to do what they have done to the Palestinians and it go unchecked. Therefore, the Most High will turn his face against all those nations as well. So what you're seeing is just the beginning of the Most High's wrath. You haven't seen it yet. When the other nations come, when the Syrians come, when the Jordanians come, when the Egyptians come, when the Yemenis come, when Saudi Arabia comes, the UAE comes, Iraq and Iran comes, when Pakistan comes, you begin to get the idea? So imagine what type of showdown that's going to be. It's going to be the Most High displaying his power upon the heathen, because all these people got a hand in what's happened to us. So, children of Israel, we may be far away in these lands, And we look at this scenario, we're thinking, man, that's got nothing to do with me. It has absolutely everything to do with you. Because in order for us to return back to that land, some things have got to happen. In order for us to be delivered from the lands of our captivity, some folks have got to die. And I'm talking a bunch of people. Most importantly, the Most High did say that he will raise us up in the many lands that they have scattered us in. So therefore, as we speak this word, and if the word is truly in us, the Most High is not going to cause our words to fail and fall to the ground. So therefore, as we speak, then those who are listening will be able to look into these prophecies, look into the books of the laws and the prophets, and be able to say, yes, these are a wise and understanding people. These are God's people. For he will raise us up in the sight of all the nations, in the nations in which we dwell. So we will be raised up and acknowledged long before we are returned back onto the Holy Land. So there is no turning back at this point. They have gone entirely too far. There is no mending of fences. There is no two-state solutions. There can never be a two-state solution, ever. It won't be. And the Spirit will not be placed upon an Israeli to make peace with the Arabs. It's just not going to happen. And if these Arab countries have any sense, and they do, they're aware of what has happened in times past, in the agreements that were made between these French and the English and the rest of them, all the agreements that this European man has made with the Arabs, he has reneged on them. This man is untrustworthy. He is a liar. And so this is something that the Arabs have to understand. And I'm certain they do. The Arabs are aware of this. The Chinese are aware of this. The Japanese are aware of this. Everyone, we are all aware of this because we have all been victims of this man. And so therefore, as he is stripped, his clothes is ripped off his body, he's standing there butt naked, and all the people that he has victimized, we're all looking at him. Somebody got a knife, somebody's got a gun, somebody's got a bat, somebody's got some brass knuckles, and somebody gonna blaze on him. Somebody gonna steal him. You're gonna get stolen on. What does that mean? Somebody gonna punch him in the face. And once they do, everyone's gonna jump on him and literally beat him down. So this is what we're going to see in this nation. We're going to see the wicked get judged, period. There's no turning back. Speaking of no turning back, if you are walking in this law, statutes, judgments, and precepts, be sure that you stay on this path. For the minute that you decide to deviate to the right hand, to the left hand, or to the left hand, you will find yourself in turmoil. And then it's going to, if you bethink yourself, you're going to realize, well, my life was not in turmoil when I was walking in the law. And since I turned away, my life has become difficult. And so therefore, if you're in that position, you realize that you are to turn back. There are those who have never heard of the law before and have been walking contrary to it. And they're certainly paying the price. However, if you have been taught the way that is right, and in spite of you knowing right and wrong, in spite of you knowing wickedness and righteousness, you walk the path of righteousness for a short time and turn to wickedness anyway, your punishment is going to be stiff because you knew better. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. That ends this segment / lesson. There's no turning back. As the Most High gather these nations in the valley of Jehoshaphat, we will sit back and watch and see how this thing goes. This is just another phase. We don't know exactly how quick this thing may go. It may take another year for this to happen, and it may take another 10 days, 10 hours. We don't know. This thing can change quickly. It's a fluid environment right now, and things are moving right along. The heathen has cut off the lights in the Gaza Strip, cut off the water, cut off the food, and cut off access to energy, i.e. gas. So somehow he feels as though what he does, if he does it in the dark, then the rest of the earth will not see it. But what he has forgotten is that Yah is there. It is Yah's land that you're on. The blood that you're spilling is upon his land, and he will require your blood to be spilled in that land. So they're maneuvering, totally forgetting where they are. That's the Most High's land. Totally forgetting and not having any regard for life and for the Most High's law pertaining to life when you shed one's blood. So they have got it coming, and it's going to be violent. So watch for their ways to be returned upon their own head. So, man of Israel, woman of Israel, and the strength that is of a contrite spirit, be mindful of your behaviors, for your ways will be returned upon your own head, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. So ensure that your ways are right and that you're doing that which is right in the Most High's sight. Peace, Israel, and Yah bless. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. And peace to the stranger that is of a contrite spirit, that will take a hold of the Most High's laws, statutes, judgments, and precepts, and will do them. It's no turning back. Here we go. Turn your spears, turn your pruning hooks, and all your tools into weapons. It's time to fight. It is a time of war. Blow the trumpets. Peace, Israel, and Yah bless.